right. Speaking of soberness, this is the next guest that we have. He is an entrepreneur, a corporate leader. He is the founder and the CEO of MAZ and executive director of the Entrepreneurs Network of Zimbabwe. I'm still going. He's also the board chairman of the biggest NGO in the country. What's the biggest NGO in the country? You got it right. He also sits on various boards, including the Zimbabwe Advertising Research Foundation and the President's Fund. This is not a small person. He spends his time with the boy child through a PVO he started called Boys Engage. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Gillian Rusike as he comes and takes us in this next session.
Some new faces, when you are in the house of God, this is where we worship. But when we talk business, it looks like a flip side of the story. But even in church, business has to be talked because some of us who are anchored on faith, this is the source. So when you see us in the market, Doc Few, it starts from here. So we said, so that when we go out, I'm really honored to see you. Doc, more blessing. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. Doc Phil, thank you so much. These are captains of industry that have come. Tendai, my good friend from OK Zimbabwe, thank you so much. Madam Hongai, today I'm standing in front. I was at the office on Friday. They were grilling me. She is the CEO of ZFM, AB Communications rather, which owns ZFM. Patricia, I'm a board chair elsewhere, where she's a board member. She's a board chair elsewhere, where I'm also a board member. So we sit on various platforms together in the corporate world. She is indeed a true inspiration to me because she's always challenging me to move forward. When she introduced herself, my colleague there, Prosper, said, we've got Delta in church. We've got Delta in church. Not that side of Delta. Delta has drinks also. Thank you so much, colleagues, that have come to our business conference. Prosper Mutswiri, thank you so much. He's also a colleague from PowerTel. He's the commercial director there. So you realize that we do have very powerful and strong people in our midst. Lastly, let me also acknowledge my mother. She's coming all the way from Centenary now, Baba. They said they are coming. 5 a.m. they were saying we are on the way. Thank you so much for coming. So you see, this is how we desire to impact the world. And I'm sure out of this conversation, we are going to catch one or two things. Even my wife was shocked to say, okay. I said this for the church conference. I do it for God. Thank you so much, colleagues. Let me also honor my pastors. If you are in the house of God, we need to give honor where it is supposed, where it is due. My senior pastors, I've been in this church for almost 19 years now. Yes, and pastor, for the sake of my colleagues, I know some know you because you have come to some of our conferences. Sometimes for those that attend some of our events, he comes to do opening prayers. And when MAZ started, the inspiration came from his office together with Mama. They are my senior pastors. They are my parents in the spirit. And these are the only people whom I've said in my life they can rebuke me. And it has managed me to be where I am today. I thank you so much, Pastor, for the honor and the grace that you have given us. The senior leadership, our elders in the church, Professor Dr. Tagirei is right at the back. He's making sure that things are in place. He moved away from his chair and said, don't worry, I'll usher people today. Thank you, Pastor, the deacons, Deacon Maramba and Amai, and everybody else. I really appreciate you, and it's a very good moment to be in the house of God, talking business. So I'm going to talk about an interesting topic that almost all of us, we really need to be cognizant of in our daily operations. But my focus is really going to be on building a Christ-centered company culture. Building a Christ-centered company culture. Most of us, we just go by the wind, or our cultures, normally they are built as we interact, as we do all these other things. Then a certain culture comes out. But it is pertinent that as business leaders or as Christians, we take deliberate efforts to make sure that we align. Christianity is not only for the church. Christianity is not only for our homes, that you wake up, you pray, then you go. But you realize that we spend most of our times, even in our workplaces, as we interact with people, and this is the source of our living. So we can't say where our source of living comes. We don't talk Ramari. And when we come to church, mariacho. So we really need to make sure that across the entire spectrum of our lives, we bring in the issue of Christianity. I'll just go to the widely or the most read book, the verse that I feel is the one that really should inspire us when we go back to our workplaces. Joshua 1, verse 8. This is a very common verse to people who are so conversant with the Bible. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have a good success. Oh, the book of the law should not depart from thy mouth. Zoreva kuti even urukubasa kwako, the book of the law should guide you. The decision-making processes that you make, you need to reflect on what the book of the law says. How you behave yourself, how you conduct yourself, how you process things, the book of the law should not depart. You should not be nasi uruku nzungu, mangwana uruku nyemba. Kana wakupinda pa gate rekuchechi wa deacon, asikana uru munyika or uru kubasa kwako, you are a different animal altogether. The book of the law should not depart. Henceforth, wherever we are, whatever decisions that we are making in our lives, we need as Christians to make sure that we are guided by the book of the law. The book of the law that I'm referring to, obviously, it is the Bible. So, when we face challenges, we are operating, and as Zimbabweans, almost every one of us, we are operating in a VUCA environment, right? That Mama was talking about. A VUCA environment is an environment that requires any strategy you can think of to survive. It is a survival environment. And most of the times, it asks you or demands you to do certain things that are not by the book. We need to make a decision. But what does the book of the law say when it comes to this kind of decisions? So the VUCA environment, Amadzangu, is not new to any one of us in this place, but it is an environment that we survive in. Kudara chingwa, a loaf of bread, you needed to stand in a queue to get a loaf of bread. I had an advantage because I worked in the biggest supermarket in the country, okay, Zimbabwe. So my colleagues within the system would call me, Rusike, chingwa chawe, chengetire 5 loaves. Imagine you are unamun wango wachiziva imomo. Mazuwa shuga istakaita mari ana Rusike. Buzi etika deliverwa. Ndokuchengetera makatons mangani makesi ndobva ndati isa 5 per side. Because ndine munhu wandaiziva. Ivuka environment. Imagine ndikutaura about the basics. What more where you are needed to make serious decisions that have an implication not only on yourself, but even on everyone else, the employees that you have. I've always said when I look at the staff complement at my workplace, I am not only impacting, for example, the life of Enya, who is the head of marketing at MAZ, but my impact goes even towards the decisions that I make, they go even towards impacting her children. She's got 2 sons. When I look at how we function and how I operate and how I relate with her, I'm even looking at the future of his children. I'm not only looking at the future of his children, I'm even looking beyond. He's got a mom. If the mom is sick, she calls the daughter, and the daughter comes to ask maybe for an advance or some assistance. So you find that the ecosystem that I influence goes beyond the people that are just around me. What kind of leadership am I inculcating in my team that I am working with? Doc Phil can testify. He's an HR guru. He's the HR director of where he works. When you're working with people from different and diverse backgrounds, you realize that there is some type of leadership that you are required, because everybody has got expectations. And those expectations, you need to make sure that you align with certain ways of thinking and decision making. And here today as Christians, we say in church, let's talk about how we can influence the process of decision making so that it aligns with Christian values that we always speak and live by. I want to talk about 10 points that I've just summarized in terms of how you as business leaders, even as parents at home, because remember, this conversation should start right at the home. As far as when we come to church, then it's a different conversation. It has to be an ecosystem of a lifestyle that you are living and you are leading, so that when you stand in front of people and you declare that I'm a Christian, even your workmates can clap hands for you to say, yes, he is a Christian. Number one, as we craft our vision statements, as we craft our value statements within the organizations, let's think about what the book of the law says. We go for our strategic reviews as businesses and everything else. What are our value systems as an organization? When you sit down to talk about integrity, almost every organization has integrity as a value. And you go, those value systems, colleagues, let me point out that yes, we put them at our reception areas and everything else, so that our stakeholders, our clients, our visitors, when they come, they see that we stand for these values. But let me also emphasize that those value statements that we display, first and foremost, they should be targeted, or they are for the employees who should start by living them. So in our canteens, in the restrooms, chaimo, let's endeavor to put our value systems there, so that when a person is having lunch, they get to acquaint themselves with the value systems that we have in our organizations. When we say integrity, what does it mean to the team at your workplace? Do we have time to explain our value systems to our employees so that we continue to knock in their heads to be able to live by these value systems? When we say one of our value system is honesty, honesty is one of the value systems. But in the minds of the staff that are supposed to exude this honesty to the clientele, is it speaking that honesty? Do they understand what honesty means from your company point of view? So us as leaders in our businesses, we've got a big challenge to explain these values that we say we live by to our employees, so that we don't miss it. So when I come to your organization, to your business, and you talk of honesty as your value system, do I encounter an honest employee? VUCA environment, because I need an order. I can promise you that tomorrow I will try. I'll give an example. Deacon Maramba runs a business that supplies branded items to corporates. An agent event is happening. ZFM is going to Mtoko Mangwana for a roadshow, but they need t-shirts for their business to tomorrow delivered. Because he needs business, he can promise to say, I know I'll be able to deliver. And we encounter these things in our businesses. But there's a process that he needs to get these things maybe from South Africa, get them printed, and what is he able to deliver? When you speak to your clients, when you speak to the stakeholders, are you honest in terms of what you are able to deliver? Most of us, we don't do that, because it's a VUCA environment, and we really need to make sure that we get the money. Business is not just about money, colleagues. Business, it's about living our value system as guided by the book, which is the Bible. So I talked of how you can integrate your value and mission statement into how. Number 2 is leadership example. As a leader, it is a demand rather that whatever you want to come out of the people that you work with, you live by example or you lead by example. If you say we are going to go Kwamutare, you should be the first one at the front. Atidi leader anonga achinzi vanouya here kana kuti havauye hatinyatsonzwisisa, and you demand results from these people, yet iwe wacho you can't do these things. It is a demand on leadership in setting the tone for a Christ-centered culture in the organization. I'll give you an example. At Econet, if you speak to anyone from Econet, every Wednesday, their CEO, Doc Mbowen, they have a morning session, prayer session. It's a virtual one. And all the employees from across the country are expected to log in and also share their experiences in the word. For those that have come to my offices, those that have worked at MAZ, we have made it a culture that every Wednesday we converge in our reception area to make sure that we pray and we share the word of God. It is a must, everyone. 8 o'clock, ask my wife. That's the day I wake up early. Jump out of bed, we've got prayer at work. And we rotate in terms of sharing the word. So there's actually a duty roster, which is posted every week to remind you that on Wednesday you're the one who is sharing. So people actually come prepared to inspire other workers. And lead us in prayer. If you hear me pray, colleagues, during the wee hours that I pray in my house, I think my wife was shocked because I'll be mentioning the names of my staff members. Ndofunga vakandinzwa vanongoti baba kwakanaka here, right? Ndinonamatira the people that I work with, colleagues, because I also want the grace of God that is upon me to be upon them. And it is my encouragement to my staff members to say, take time to pray for the other. Make mention of their names. Do you know the reason why most of the times we don't have good relationships in our businesses? Focus on your own. If you see I want to implore us as Christians, pray for them. Vanamatire kwete mlamato wokuti ngavabve ipapo Mwari roza mlamato wehasha hey vabvisei Mwari inini Mwari ngavabve. No, I'm not talking of that. Pray a prayer of blessing for your other colleagues. You know, Pastor always says, munyika matino operator tirum. Iwe urim Kristo adizi. Urukuta haina I'm a Christian. And uromuka makuseni noitaka 2-second prayer. God bless our food. Abo urukubuda urukuenda kubasa. Do you know kuti mabachi dok mabachi atinopfeka hanzi mune zvinhu zvinofema. Fru. Bute rinenge ramwaiwa mupaseji kubva kusvika ukumuna anotaka kusvika kubasa la 7 or achisvika na 8. Arova bute 5 rounds mupaseji achitaura zita rako iwe wauya waisaka munamato kesadza ka God bless our food uri kuenda kubasa uri kutsika bute irororo. And you are saying, I am a Christian, I believe in God. Oh, am I preaching? No, I'm still presenting. Are you getting it? So you find that the wars that we are fighting, probably as Christians, demands us to be so serious with what we are doing. If you decide to be a Christian, as namfulizo wangu ngati kunye amadzangu ita tamba chidembo muskwenda kabata pana Jesu. Ita zvebute rako asini ndakabata pai pana Jesu. This is how you can build a Christ-like culture in your business. I'm just trying to give us nuggets so that as Christians we are not found wanting. Mudoroba mabuilding akazaro. Ane mazita. How many buildings are owned by Christians? And the Cynthia Mtugumira house, 1942. Owned by the Cynthia. Hakuna kana building. Isa akazara mazita yevanhu tirakuona rakadzi Patricia Mrambinda building. Yeah, you see the blessings of God. You see, Tichisika also. Tichisika Patricia building. She's found in 14th floor. You know, I've been to Joina City, Coffee Square, Shingim Tas. It's right at the toppest of that Joina City. The office is just something else. And the man is so relaxed, can I remove his market? Imagine, is it 13th floor? I'm so rope gutare harare. For this. Just can't know I'm tasa so. I can my reception 4. I'm appointment. Rope waka 4. I'm appointment. Come on. 4 times you put one appointment here. I'm Christ. Are you getting it? It has to come from us. It has to come from us. We are the children of God. The creator of the heavens and the earth and everything therein. Everything. Masimbe kama buildings damari. Damari. Smende yekulafa jiyo. Damari ndimari wakawapa wisdom yo. Iota zakwito yako just one building. Let's take time to pray in our businesses. When you get into your office, it's critical. Shut your door. Pray 5 minutes. God, I've stepped into this. I'm your child. It has to start with you. Guess tangenewe. Usangomuka furufuchu. Nokuti zvakapresa urungomhanyira pa email kunobatidza laptop. Take time to bless the place and speak the word of God into those facilities, into those premises, if it has to start with you. Number 3 point, employee well-being, the well-being of your staff. As a leader, we do have COs in here. We do have COs. What is your mentality when it comes to the well-being of employees? Amaivangu runs a school in Centenary. She's got teachers that are under her who take care of children. In your mind as the leader, what is your mentality about the welfare of your employees? Do you know my employees come from different backgrounds? The gender issues, they are critical to consider in business. They're critical. If you don't take cognizance that this is a female colleague in my business, and you are a male colleague, those are 2 different things. And we do that. No, it's an assignment. Do you know there are some leaders who are not approachable? No, we don't take that. I want to see you in Mtare tomorrow. Either you take it or leave it. We do that. We are leaders. Wambonzwa here issue yake kuti yakamira sei. Mwana pa mwari kurwara, mai vari kurwara. Can she honestly go for a business trip when things are not well at home? Please, as business leaders, if we are to build a Christ-like centered culture, let's be people who are concerned about the welfare of our staff members. The disabled, basa irirepa reception na kuti kwale munhu ari pa wheelchair. But no, it's the image of the business. No, we can't have munhu akadaro pa reception. Ndiwe mwana wa Mwari uri kudaro. Ndiwe mwana wa Mwari uri kudaro. If they can do it, why can't you provide a platform for them also to serve? You need to be inclusive in your decision-making processes. The language that we use I was speaking to one colleague who came to my office. So she moved to a different company than I knew where she was. Then I was asking, so how's the new? I didn't know that you moved to this place. Then she said, no, business is fine. But Mr. Rusike, the culture, the way these people do. The bosses are Indians. And I later realized the person I took over from actually left abuse from the leaders. Culture iri kusetwa. Tinozviita kumabasa uko. Vari kuzviita vanhu kumabasa uko. Are we getting it? But iwewe as a leader who is saying you're a Christian, what basis, where are you coming from? How are you managing those things? So we actually need to make sure that we are concerned about the welfare of the staff. I wish some of my team members from my workplace were here, but I can't see them. When we did our strategy at the beginning of last year, internally to my staff members, I changed my title. I said, guys, I'm going to be your Chief Inspirational Officer. If you come to my office, that's my title. And every one of them, I said, I'm not going to focus on anything this year. The business is there. We have done strategy. Everyone, you now know what you want to do. My thrust this year is I'm going to focus on you as individuals. If you have not been going to school, I want to see a plan. I actually forced the people to go to school. This year, almost everyone at MZ is studying something. I said it's a must. And I was thinking August, from January to now, what will you be doing? I want a concrete plan. Concrete plan a short course, because we do short courses. Tell me what I want to do 4 courses so that I improve. Dakamira August. And I said I want to see, and everyone, they sent me emails. I do have them. I'm going to be doing. So we focused on personal development and what you want to achieve. I said these things, I'm happy. I want to see what you are doing. Others said I want to acquire a stand. Others said I want to what, and everything else. I said, come on board. Come on board. Let's find ways of helping you to get that stand that you want. We might not have money, so much money as a business, but I want to make sure that even your personal desires are also achieved. Yes. And I called them one by one, randomly. How is school? I called them. How is school? And everyone that has worked at MZ, they know. They know what my emphasis is on going personal development. He is a testimony, that gentleman there. He's now one of the top marketers in the country. Uy, akasumudzwa ruoko. Yeah. And I'm happy our head of marketing and operations is here. She's also a pastor by nature. We force people to go to school. We agreed as a business with we told our finance manager, make sure you accommodate people who want to go to school. And we are doing it. Yeah. That is my role. So, how are they performing? Are you concerned about their welfare? Yeah. Even as a departmental leader, department mune growth there. What is happening? So we really need to make sure that we are concerned about the welfare of the staff and the workplace ethics that we inculcate in our people. It has to start from you. Number 5, if we are to foster a Christ-like culture in our businesses, the issues of community engagement are very, very critical. Community engagement. As a business leader, as a business, what are you doing also to give back to community? What are you doing? Or you profit you're enjoying. Do you know impacting community does not necessarily require so much money? Taking a boy, kuchkoro, kwangu kwandobva kuEpworth up. Schools, I discovered school fees, it's $45. $45. If I go to lunch with Patricia, who is also my board chair elsewhere, tikati hande kulunch tinoblowa mari, madam. Tunairova. Chimwa zvimacocktail yobvanzi tokupai mocktail here toisa pamusoro muda ice cream here kuti vakomana uzopiwa bill. Ilanchi Dr. Few. But there's somebody who is lacking school fees, which is just $45. Yeah. If you mobilize, I think, guys, as a business, where it might be where you come from or where you don't, we just want to give. It's quite interesting. One day I was driving, passed by Square Statue, Yambiananda, Pakona pa Samora na Julius Nyerere. There used to be an old Mbuya so, the Gogo. Do you know Gogo? She used to beg. Every time, Mbuya. And I was looking at her and I was like, this old lady. One day I just said to my finance manager, can I have $200? There's a Mbuya that I want to. And you know, finance people don't just release money. You know, and my finance manager is a very strict man. Ask any, so I convinced him, please, can I have money? I need to go and bless somebody that I just saw. The woman touched my heart because she was an old lady. I drove. I don't remember whom I went with from my office. Ambuya, where kuno? I parked my car. I said to the guy, can you call that Gogo? We went, okay, Nelson Mandela. Yeah. Trolley Ambuya. She couldn't believe it. Mati trolley. They got a trolley Ambuya. Takatenga grocery. I think takatenga about 200 and something. Vakazadza trolley tikatora imwe trolley tikaisa 2 kg. Tikatande munogara kupi. Unfortunately vanogara kumusha kwangu kuEpworth. Ameno vanobhega mutauni vanenge vachibva kuEpworth zvaita sei. I didn't know that she was coming from Epworth. Takavaisa motikari. My car, vakagara kuback seat. Nemapepa bag akazara kudai. Nemagrocery. Vandavaburusa pana 4th ndikati kwirai kombi. Andinoda kuti murambe muchibhega. Vana venyu mbuya vanokusiyai muchiuya mutauni muchipesana nemotikari kudaiwo. I had a fulfillment in my heart. Yeah, thank God. Just the excitement. Ndikati musapote muchiuya kuzobhega. Do you know God speaks to us in different ways? Yeah. And it might not be on a business platform, even individually as a person. It has to start from on a smaller scale. But budget, from the little that you are earning as a person, you need to impact someone else. When he was reading my profile, when I was coming here, he talked about me spending time with boys. I desire to spend time with boys from the vulnerable communities. And I started from my home, Epworth. I started a PVO called Boys Engage. And I'm impacting boys. I've decided to go back where I'm coming from. I spend money, my personal money, ask my wife when I'm going for those meetings. I buy food, I buy what. Just used to see them eating polony. Excites me. One of my friends, I'm not sure if he's here yet, when I was still in school, the first time I had him, first time in my life, secondary school, it was at his house. It's time for Epworth. I got him Queensdale. So one day he said, let's pass through my house. Gresham is here. Oh, he had promised to come with his wife. And I gave him this testimony some few months and he was shocked. Him comes as a loaf like this in their house. I didn't know. Because my mom, she was a maid. It's like this him, you know what she used to do? To my sandwich, she used to wake varungu mnana hillside. So to my sandwich, repa muka foil paper. Putirwa anditi maona. Vaiti vakuya taiva manyira, ndo manyira ka handbag. Because ndozoti mune to my nice. And being the only boy unongoziva dindo bandato ningirikina. Dine my sisters. Do mandaitora kachingwa kaike ndo vura nchiti. Kanyama kakaita sei. That's the first. Those were the times that I would test him. But for my first time, I didn't know him in his table. Chirichi love so, which is slice away. Chief. Ayaya. So when it comes to community engagement, please, it has to start with you as a leader. It has to start with you as a leader. There are a lot of people who are living miserable lives. So, that culture, if it doesn't emanate from you, there will be a big challenge. Volunteer to do things. Get batsire amadzangu. My charitable initiatives akawanda ariko. Let's help. And in Luke 6 verse 38, give and it shall be given to you. Give and it shall be given to you. Am I? Baba, kuchikoro kwenyuku. Identify one or two people in the community. Vana parents are kutadza kuenda kuchikoro. Itai kuti as part of our giving back to community, we are taking you to school. I know he's doing it. I remember when we came for the graduation at their school. This is how we give back. Yeah. Imagine how we transform the life of that person. Continuing in Luke 6 verse 38, a good measure pressed down, shaken together and running over, oh my goodness, and poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. We have seen it, Econet, Higher Life Foundation. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Those guys are quite amazing. Yeah. We need to give back. They've impacted thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the community through the airtime that you are using. Through your business, how are you impacting? And now to Maria Kawanda, ngatange ne butsu dzekubhata dzevana vechikoro masize to masize 6. Anzi tunoita $13. Kungoto ndangotenga 5 pairs of shoes. Ndingono donate how. You have impacted. So atutora kuti anzi zvinoitwa nevanhu vane mari. It starts from that point of view. Number 6, conflict resolution. How do you resolve conflicts in the workplace? Where is your heart? Where is your mind when issues arise? Or ndengi ndatomuwanira ipapo. Akutombatira ipapo. Ipapo nasi. Unozamula nditakukwata so kuti neka issue kadiki so. Kutadzakana kuya ku office kwako. But you are a Christian. No, akusi ku church kuno. Don't bring issue of Christianity in this place. You're a leader. Somebody has done wrong. Does it warrant for them to go home? Because remember, if that person goes home over a silly matter, that means their life has been affected. And now affect the life of church. They've affected the life of the entire value chain. My mzukuru, the one that my sister, the last born in my family, she left one child. I've taken this child to school, up to university, fighting and everything else for him to finish university. Then after that, there was a vacancy at my workplace. Then we gave him a job in the accounts department. This guy is mine. I've been forcing him to come to church and do everything else. It's a challenge. Then he started stealing money. Yaruita oversee akutora zvake. We later realized kuti ane addiction ye sport betting. Zvikunobeja kuti uya achagoesa yagoesa. Isitamutengedesa mari yebasa yaari kutora achinobeja uku. Akuudza kuti Prosper anogoesa ndiani. Apo uri kunesa $500. Then, ask Maizi, who is our head of marketing. Imagine how conflicted I am. This is my blood. He's messing up. How do I resolve such an issue at my workplace? Mwana wangu, dini dead wake, dina mayake, dini everything else. And he's stealing from my pot. Iya mayako ya wa employer. Mwana wako chaiye, your son, your child, who is busy stealing from you. Saka atisha employ hama dzedu ere. Dog field dimi kwechara. Do you know God what he does? So the guy who is also in accounts, fortunately God opened up for him. He's traveling to America. Because this guy takabata visa batato muda kumuripotera kumapurisa mwana wangu. Kukendisa mwana kujeri. I mean, you see how conflicted I am. Ndikamendesa kumapurisa obviously a lot of varirwa. Boss wabaka. Saka should I take him to prison? Saka takati toita say. Then I called Elia. So the guy who is leaving came to my office and said, say, I want to talk to you, the one who is leaving from that department. Nagandi chikumbiro, that was him. Tirivana tinotadza. Nagandi chikumbiro kuti muregerere si. Oh, sorry, I don't want to mention the name. Mumuregerere adzoke kubasa. I'm sure he has learned his mistakes. It wasn't me. Somebody else. How do you deal with such an issue? How do you resolve such conflicts? If you are not prayerful, if you are not a Christian, how do you handle it? So you find that as Christians, we've got huge burdens upon us that we actually need to give to God. So if you don't pray, if you are not prayerful, if you are not a Christian, the way you make those decisions, will become a very big challenge. Number 7, prayer and spiritual growth. Encourage employees to prioritize their spiritual well-being through prayer, meditation, and opportunities for personal growth and reflection within the workplace. Like I was telling you, that we do it at MAZ. Every one of us, we have got a roster where everyone has to preach to your colleagues. And I've always said to them, whether you cook in the kitchen, I said, Hakuna, come. One of the ladies that we work with, she came, a cleaner. Right now, she's an astute administrator. I told her, Hakuna, you've got potential. What areas do you want? She came from the kitchen. She started by reception. Now she's running the administration, a fully fledged administration department. And you'll be shocked. Very cheerful. Very cheerful. Potential. How are you identifying potential within your business and giving people an opportunity? Don't judge a person by the looks. Give them opportunities to develop themselves, to grow themselves. This is how we build Christian cultures within our businesses. Biblical integration. Find ways to integrate biblical teachings and principles into everyday work practices, such as decision-making processes, team-building activities, or company events. Colleagues in business, I've always challenged myself. I looked at Genesis 26, from verse 12 to verse 13. This is the verse that I always, when I'm praying about the business side of my life, I say, Isaac planted crops in that land. I have planted this business. Fortunately, I'm a founder, so I plant businesses. I said I've planted these businesses in this land. I live in Zimbabwe. Oh, how are you guys doing? But in this same land, I have planted the same as Isaac has planted. The guy planted in that land where there was famine, where there was drought. And the word of God says, he reaped 100-fold because the Lord blessed him. In business, I don't look. When we do our strategy, when we do SWOT analysis and what, you find the good, kuma threats and weaknesses, I don't know. My opportunities never strength and I got two lines. Apa muda kuita mari. Do you think you can succeed under those circumstances? Because negative yakajanya kudai to budget and dollar regala nezig. Awukuziwo maboyira manje. Because police ayisathe announce. Uthi ayingoita izvo. Pa budgeting asatatanga. Denomination yako yarushandisa ndeipi? Matostika ne denomination cheda asatataura amount. Tukutaura denomination. This is the environment we are operating in. So, I said, Mary, and this is my prayer each and every time. If Isaac, you blessed him and he reaped 100-fold, why not me? Why not me? I need to reap 100-fold because you are God. And the man became rich and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. But very wealthy, eh? ZFM can become very wealthy because of you. If CEO believes and comes and says, guys, we are becoming very wealthy in this business. You are telling your team and we are moving, no one is stopping. If you are not believing or you are not singing in my same way, better drop off because I am moving. Yeah. We can become very wealthy. We can become very wealthy. Number 9, let's also recognize, am I within time? I'm looking at the MC. Number 9, recognition and appreciation. Acknowledge and appreciate employees for their contributions and achievements. Recognize that their work is ultimately serving a higher purpose. I've recently seen a video that was running. Was it on TikTok or Facebook? I'm not so sure. Where a driver of a haulage truck business was given a big pizza and as a reward for a 10-year service. And the guy was, tell us about your pizza. And the guy was saying, no, varungu wakanaka chaizo. Dapiwa pizza for 10 years. 10 years driving a gonyet and you are given a pizza. Even though this one is a workaholic, and you are recognizing people by giving them a pizza. $12 for 10 years. It is us, the leaders, who are doing it. So imagine the spirit, the mindset that you are building in these people. So if you don't put mechanisms in place as a business leader to make sure that you recognize effort, it's a challenge. I want to welcome my Mkwasha. I sent him the flyer. I said, thanks so much for coming. It's so heartwarming when something is happening, you're involved, and your relatives are coming. So far, man. It means there's something good that you are doing. Thank you. My mother is here. Thank you. It's no further, man. So some of these things we really need to make sure we change our mindset, we change our approach in how we deal with our people. Lastly, number 10, I talked about it, the issue of continuous improvement. And ngatirege kuramba takangodzvanyirira vashandi vedu vatinoshanda navo, hama dzatinoshanda nadzo, yet you are the only one who is rising. You are the only one who is rising. I've enrolled for a doctorate program. I challenged any there to say, we need to go to school. And she came and said, Mr. Rusike, I've been accepted for the same program. We're going to be 2 doctors at MAZ. Yeah. And I'm proud of it. She came and I said, we're going to get the money for you. You are going to start. I told her, we are Tina Mari, but we're going to have it for you to start that program. Because if you don't have that desire to uplift others, how do you build a Christ-like centered culture within your business? Let's grow together. So we've got a very big challenge as business leaders, as Christians rather, as we embark on this journey, colleagues. The issue of finances. We're going to have an exciting session with Dr. Nigel Chanakira, where he's going to talk about how we manage finances. You know, when pastor is talking about tithing and say, is your business tithing? And what? How do you take it from that perspective? My board members, ndingauye ne-financial ndichiti ndaisa 10% kutithe. Madam Patricia, munobvunza kuti kuchechi kwani kwayaenda? Because tese tunoenda kuchechi kapa. Say yazoenda kuchechi 1. Andini mubvunzo wandobvunzwa. Unobvunzwa kuti yakatithwa. Sikamuti business inondere kuloti sanctuary church. So these are conversations that we need to have as Christians, so that when we go back, munofunga kuti honorable wanga bvume misonga yekuti takaisa 10% kuchechi kuZFM muri kupresent our financials. It can't. So we need to know where we draw the line. We need to understand some of these things. So we're going to have a session that is going to focus on that. Colleagues, brethren, I want to leave you listening to a short clip that I listened to. It was on TikTok, so I thought I'll close my presentation by playing this short clip. We're not going to put the video, but just I want you to listen to the words that this girl was talking about. Otherwise, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Thank you.